All right, market update here on the 20th. Go over the chart a little bit. So it's kind of dicey right here. I think that this has already ended. Pretty sure that we've already hit the fifth wave. There's a slim possibility of this being the fourth wave, and we're making a fifth wave higher. But this is where I doubt it's going to happen, is right here. You can see here we got an ABC move here. So if this was a 5-wave move down, or if this was this was a move up, then you would see an impulse move here. This move down can't end with an ABC, more than likely. So what I'm thinking is this is probably this. And in the past video, I talked about we're making the fifth wave of the overall third wave. So third wave right here. Fifth wave could be finished. If I'm wrong and this does end up going higher, then you're looking somewhere around in this area right here. You're just looking just right around in here. I'd be buying puts. You could buy calls up into here, but more than likely it ended and we're headed back down here to this daily demand zone, 540 to 542.82. And if that breaks, then you have a gap fill down here at 537. The 0.23 pullback is around this area. This is about the 0.12 pullback. I can show you right here. So if this is the second wave right here, we hit 550. So you can see here, here's the pullbacks now. This is about the 0.12, and then the 0.23 fib is right around here in this gap fill between 534 and 537. I don't think we're going any more past that, but again, it's possible that we come all the way down here to 537. After that, we should get something like this, potentially up to 600. We'll see, but we're headed that way. But I do expect the next day or maybe early next week to be a pullback. If it does make a new high tomorrow, then that could be extended to the end of next week. But I do think this makes a lot of sense for the pullback to happen right now too, because we're coming to an end of the quarter, and normally they want to pump this into the end of the quarter. So the quicker we get down here, the better, so they have another 9 days to pump this up. So I think that we're probably going to head down tomorrow into early next week. So that's SPY. QQQ is the same. I haven't been following it as much. I've just been really doing SPY. So, and there's tons of puts on QQQ. You can see here's puts on SPY, 2.67 million. You have about 1,200,000 or 1.2 million here. And you do have some calls, but less. Another put right here, 2.8 million. QQQ, same thing, puts. And those are all above the ask too. That means it is more than likely they bought those. So QQQ and SPY I'm bearish on over the next couple days. Let's get to Tesla now. Tesla, I didn't really pay attention today because it's just not really a good trade right now. I do have a long position, obviously, still. And I have some sold puts. I do have some puts just in case I'm wrong and it goes down a lot more. With SPY dipping here, I think it's possible that this goes to 175. But it doesn't really make that much sense for it to. Again, in the last video, I talked about this being an impulse move, this being a corrective move. So normally I would expect this to hold 176.95. If it does come down here to 175, then I would just be looking at it like this. But this doesn't really make sense to me. If we're going to go hit new highs on SPY and it's going to make its final move higher, why would Tesla make a high and then come back down here. That doesn't make any sense. So there's a good chance that Tesla's ready to go. We had to get to this fourth wave on SPY, but there's a chance that this is ready to go higher and make. There's a chance that we're ready to go up here. This would go all the way up here to 207. And then after 207, pull back, another move higher after that would probably take us up here to this box, what I've been talking about for months now, or ever since this move over here in April was made. So this could be wave 1, and we're in wave 2, and we're in a nested wave 1, wave 2. So Tesla more than likely is ready to go. If it goes up here and then falls back down, then it's probably not going to go until after the election. So I think it has to go now. And why does it make sense that it goes now? Because of the pattern we have here. We potentially have a huge contracting triangle. And it has to go up here to like 240. So it doesn't really make sense for it to sit around here more, because if it comes down after hitting 200 and then the market makes a big correction, where's Tesla going then? It's going lower. So 240 is making a lot of sense soon, July or August. I talked about July or August for a while. I didn't expect it to happen on this move right here. I was still expecting one more move down, but I think it's probably ready to go. And we'll see, though. It has to hold. It doesn't have to hold, but I would like to see it hold 177 or 176.59 just because of the structure on the smaller time frames, but it could be ready to go. The next 1.61 fib would be 207.60. So get ready for Tesla potentially ready to take off. Meta, this is probably going to do, so I was talking about this being a first wave. At this point, it's probably going to end up doing something like this. And then I think it's ready to go after that. I think it's the same thing. We're looking for, boom. And my target, again, is like 550 or 560. So I'm still holding Meta. AMD, the very interesting one. So this one has two different paths. Both of them take it to 180 plus. But the question is, did we bottom here, or is this WXY? Or ABC, I guess. A, B, C, like that. If SPY comes down, are we going to go straight down here? Or was the bottom right here, and that was the first wave today? I mean, it's tough to say. It would be a big move to fall all the way down here to 151-ish. And so what I'm thinking is it's probably more likely that this is going to be a second wave. And this made an ABC move right here. But what I do think is going to happen, this is probably going to fall more. So maybe something like this. Maybe fill the gap here at 155. And then AMD should be ready to go. But again, it is possible that it does this too. So either one is just as likely, I think. But it doesn't matter. It hit demand before and bounced out of it. We had a huge move this morning. And it's ready to go. You can see here, even if it goes to 151, we are looking for a move all the way up here to potentially 188. So AMD, I do have some hedges on right now because I think that the next day or two will probably be more chopping down, but it's ready to go. So AMD ready to go, Tesla's probably ready to go, Meta's probably ready to go. They're probably all going to pull back. I did a SoFi video, you know about that. CRM, huge move today. Huge move. And so I was accumulating. I did sell a little bit today. Unfortunately, I don't know why I sold a little bit early. That was kind of stupid, but I really wasn't expecting it to just blow right through this at 240. I was expecting a little bit of a pullback with the overall market, but we didn't get that. And this is probably on its way to 260. It's ready to go, in my opinion. You might get a small pullback with the market, but it's going to at least 260. So I am long this still, but I did sell a little bit today. So CRM looks great. If you don't know the overall count on this, I do think that this is making a second wave though. So 1, 2. So I do think it's probably going lower, but we'll find out here in the next couple of months how high it can go. This looks to me like a B wave. This looks to me like it needs to make a 5-wave move down. And I think that would be the overall 4th wave though. So maybe this happens going into the election. That would be a pretty big drop though. So we'll see. It didn't have to go all the way down there. It could just go down to, you know, just a lower amount or a higher amount. But I do think a 5th wave is probably coming after this bottoms, the C wave. If you're in ENPH, I looked at that earlier. ENPH. This is a pretty easy structure, and I love when it does this. When you get a B wave that makes a higher high over the A wave. So we got A, B. We're making the C wave down. So did I look at that wrong? Let's see. A. No, this is B right here. I'm sorry. That makes sense. A. No, actually, you know what? This has more to go. So I didn't look at that right. So we have A down. Then, yeah, we have A. We're finishing off the B wave. So it should pop back up here after it bottoms here soon. And then going into the election or the next drop, it should go back down like this. Maybe just back down here again. Maybe back to 100. So the whole thing will look like this. The whole thing will be A, B, C, and then it should get a pop after the election. Like that. So within this B wave, you're in the B wave. So it's getting kind of complicated. A, B, C, like that. So A, B, C, down here probably to potentially 100. And I would be buying there all day because it's going to pop back up here to probably 125 to 140. So ENPH, I'll have my eyes out for that one. That's probably a good play. Standard deviation ends right here around 100. I'll probably be playing that, to be honest. Just because it's such it's a great setup and it's so easy to see what's going on. So I think buying around this area, you can ride that back up to like 130, 140. And then sell again and then buy back down here and then you'll get the real move after that. So that's ENPH. Rivian. I sold puts on Rivian and everyone's freaking out. But really, it's the same thing as ENPH. The exact same thing. I already have it marked here. So we get a A wave higher, we get an A wave down. B wave breaks the top of A, and then we get a big move down right into daily demand right here. So I have sold puts on this. They're down a bunch right now. I'm down like $700-800. But I actually saw some option flow that was bullish. That's part of the reason I sold them. I didn't really look at the chart. I did a quick glance and said, okay, maybe it'll go down to 1030, and that's exactly what it did. But this should be finishing up the move too. Same as ENPH. So I'm looking for this to fill the gap at 15 bucks here in the next month or two. So I don't really care. I'll own Rivian around 1020. Meta, AMD, Tesla, Palantir. Okay, Palantir finally fell. Let's take a look at this chart. I should probably do a separate video. So again, I was long down here because of the setup. I had this circled right here. Same area right here. It looks like it might have finished 5 waves. Let's zoom in here. It's just really tough to say this is finished. I think this is probably the 4th wave of the overall 5th wave. There's no way it's coming back down here. If it came all the way back down here, then it's not going to make the move. So you're probably looking at this, and I might even buy some now after hours, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the 5th wave. I won't be surprised if this blasts off to 31 to 33 bucks over the next month or two. So everyone thinks it's finished. Invalidation for this will be 24.35. So a buy here is probably not the worst thing. Obviously, it's ran a bunch, and it's getting to the top of the standard deviations. But if you just look at the pattern from the very beginning, you'll see that it's making the exact same pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we had this move right here, pull back, bounce, pull back, bounce, pull back, big move. And we're in the middle of that big move higher, and you can see how big it went on the last move higher. So Palantir, I think, is a probably pretty good buy still. It is. No, see, August, look at that. 31.50 would be the top of the standard deviations. That's where the gap fills at. That's my target, maybe even 33 bucks. So Palantir still looks good to me. I had a question about GME. And GME, I think what they're doing right now, I think it's pretty obvious. Let's just go over the whole chart first. So we had the big move in 2021. We dipped. We ran right back up. Then we had a falling wedge, similar to SoFi. That ended right here on April 23rd. So we have A, falling wedge, B wave, C wave, pop. So we have A down, B up, and then we get a big move down, retrace for the second wave, move down, and what they're doing here is they are holding it down until SPY goes higher, and what I think is going to happen is you're going to see GME go up here to 35, 40 bucks. And then when the market starts dipping, you're going to see this. And then you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down to 5 bucks. And here's the parallel lines, 5 bucks. Maybe even lower than that, maybe 4 bucks. People think that's crazy, but that's what the chart's showing. And after that, the even crazier part about that is that would complete ABC down, and this was A. There's a potential that after the election, So I think you're in the C wave of the overall C wave. No, you're in the C wave of the overall B wave. And you're in the middle of 5 waves down. So it's not a good time to be long GME, but over the next month or two, you're probably going to get 35 or 40 bucks. So short term, long term, I'd be out. It's going lower. I can go over, let's go over Apple. Got all my short term markings on here. And it's going exactly as planned. I was talking about 207, looking for that to gap fill at 207. And then it's ready to go higher for the fifth wave. So I have fifth wave up here of the overall third wave. I don't know if it's going to go all the way up there, but maybe. And then after that, it should see a fourth wave back down here to 195. And then one more move higher after that. So Apple is a good buy at 207. 207 you buy, you're probably going to make 10%. Let's see what else. PayPal. I'm not a fan of the company. They're trying to scam you right now, but that has nothing to do with the chart. It looks good. So it came all the way down here to 58.78. It's in 3-day demand. Same thing. I have it marked here. It's probably going up here to 72 bucks, while everything else is going to run. So PayPal looks good. Like I said, though, I'm showing you all these charts. This is the time to get long. It's not the time to go short. And that's what everyone thinks. Everyone thinks we're starting a correction right now, when really it's just a small correction and it's time to get really long, in my opinion. If it invalidates, then you get out of your longs. But right now, I'm getting long. What else we got here? Haven't looked at Lululemon in a while. It's just being pathetic. But again, same setup. It's going to bounce here in a couple of days. Higher, like everything else. Starbucks, Amazon. Boeing is just pathetic. But again, I think this is going to 200 bucks. That was my original target. This is probably making a C wave down. So you're probably looking at up here to 200 bucks, and then I'd be shorting it. So Boeing is probably a pretty good buy right now too. Mara, flat, same setup as everything else. Potentially ready to go higher. So potentially something like that. So I think Mara looks good. Bitcoin. I have not looked at Bitcoin in a while. Bitcoin's kind of struggling. But you know what this is? Well, I guess it can't be a 5-wave move, can it? Haven't looked at it in a while, but can this be a 5-wave move? This is not a 5-wave move. So, Bitcoin, but you know what it really looks like to me? It does look like an inverse head and shoulders. You can see it pretty clearly. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go much higher, but it kind of looks like it's ready to go higher. So maybe Bitcoin is in a diagonal, potentially? Not sure. A diagonal would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe it pops up here with the overall market and then pulls back with the overall market into the election. Because this thing can just sit there forever and then finally makes the new high in 2025, and then that's where you want to sell. So that's my best guess. That does not look like a 5-wave move to me. But I'm long Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin, so not really that much to break down though on it. Everything's pretty much the exact same, so I'm going to leave it at that. Everything next couple of days, I think it's ready to start buying everything. Or right now, start scaling in. I think we're ready for a big move higher. And whether you're scaling into SPY calls, you're scaling into any of the tech stocks, growth stocks, all that stuff, there should be a big move over the next 1 to 2 months that's going to skyrocket everything. And then after that, you're going to want to get out of everything because we're going to get a big pullback, more than likely into the election. So I'll leave it at that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Like, subscribe if you're not already, and I will talk to you in the next video.